And so now we've come all the way to the Waco, Texas Republic Gun Club to dispel some more of these myths. Come on in.
Welcome to Republic Gun Club. What brings you guys in today?
Welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Faith.
Faith. Are you the person in charge here right now?
I'm the lead supervisor here.
You're the lead supervisor?
I am.
So we've come all the way from Canada, British Columbia, in fact, and we wanted to dispel some of the myths that we see in our media about basically the laws in America. Now, a lot of what the news is saying is that the gun laws are so lax that anybody can get guns, and then it's all coming across our border, and it's become a big issue. Now, how easy is it for me to walk in here and just purchase a firearm?
It's not as easy as you think. There's a whole process to it. There's a process for in-state residents, and there's a separate process for out-of-state residents. Starts with a driver's license scan, and then we do a background check. And as long as the background check clears and that firearm is legal in the state that they live in, then background check clears, we're good to go.
So you have to check on all the states that people are coming from and know what their laws are specifically as well?
We do. Handguns can't sell to out-of-state driver's license holders. It has to be a Texas resident. Long guns vary depending on the state. Certain platforms aren't allowed in certain states, and if it's a customer coming in from that state, then we can't sell to them.
So I hear there's like some restrictions in like New York and California on you can have an AR-15, for example, but you can't have certain furniture on it, so you have to follow those restrictions as well?
That's a different type of restriction. So there's AR platforms. Let's take a look at them.
Yeah, let's go have a look.
So there's going to be your standard full-length rifle that's 16 inches. That is a rifle. Then there's going to be less than 16 inches, which would be considered an AR pistol, or if you put certain furniture on it, it becomes a short-barreled rifle, or SBR, which requires a federal tax stamp.
What is it? What does that mean? What is a tax stamp?
It's a document and a form that you have to fill out with the ATF through whatever store you're purchasing through, that goes straight to the government for a whole separate approval process and a more lengthy background check. And then once that all clears through, they have a federal tax stamp that you have on a piece of paper that's stamped from the ATF that says you're allowed to own this item.
So I'm not walking off the street and buying something like that?
No.
So say I came in and I wanted to buy one of these handguns here, and I was a resident of Texas. I had a Texas driver's license. What would the process be then from there? I can just come in and buy it, right? And
No, there's a process. So we would start by scanning in your driver's license to put it on the ticket so we know that's who's purchasing this firearm. Then there's what's called a 4473 form and questionnaire that you fill out to make sure you're not a felon, addicted to any illegal substances, or have any certain charges like domestic violence is an absolute zero. And then after that form is filled out, we submit a background check through a FBI database and wait and see what that background check comes back with.
And how long does that typically take?
If it's a clean record, it usually comes back immediately. If there's any kind of hit on the record, they dig into it to see out why there's a hit. It could be delayed, or if it's a felony, it's an automatic deny.
Automatic deny. So what do you as a store owner have to do in that case?
As a store owner or operator inside the store, once it gets to that point that it's denied, we tell the customer we can't do the transaction, cancel it, and we make a phone call to the ATF saying, hey, this person's in my store, here's their information, they're trying to purchase a firearm.
So it goes even as far as to call the authorities if someone who's not supposed to be buying a firearm tries to do so?
It does.
That's amazing. So walk me through this. As we're being told all of this stuff. And in fact, one of the big things that we're being told is that a lot of licensed store owners, they'll go to these gun shows. We're hearing about the gun show loophole, where people can skirt all of these laws we just talked about and basically get themselves a firearm, even if they're a convicted felon.
It's not really a loophole. I don't know why they call it a loophole. There's not one. It's the same process that we would do in store. We run the background check, verify all of their information, and make sure it's approved background check before we finish the transaction.
So explain to me, because I'm guessing that you're more aware of what they're talking about when they say loophole. What is it they're actually referring to there?
The loophole, if I had to guess, would be a private party transfer. So if we're two customers walking into a gun show and you have a gun that I like and I have a gun that you like and we do an even trade, that could technically be a loophole. But as a seller, we don't really have any loopholes.
So if you have a license to sell, you have to follow every rule that's out there.
Yep, inside and outside the building.
That's amazing. Can you take me through to actually see where customers can test out some of these firearms?
Yeah, let's take a look at our rental wall. So when our customers come in, we check safety waivers are filled out back here at our counter. Our full autos are up here on the wall. These are fully automatic weapons or firearms, depending on what terminology you prefer.
So let's go over that. I'd like to address this because a lot of Canadians that buy into a lot of the propaganda, they don't understand the difference between a semi-automatic, a fully automatic, or like a bolt action.
So a semi-automatic is when you pull the trigger, it's going to fire once, the slide on it is going to come back, and it's going to chamber another round after it kicks out the empty casing. A fully automatic, once you load it and it's chambered, when you pull the trigger, it's going to keep firing and keep cycling until it's completely empty.
Or until you pull your finger off.
Or until you take your finger off.
Right, right. And those I understand are far more restricted here than people believe.
Extremely. There's about without being a retailer or a range operator, it takes about 5 years to get the license from what I've heard from people that have gone through the process, and it is a very extensive background check that they do.
That's incredible. That it sounds like it's not very willy-nilly.
It's not. It's pretty difficult to get them.
So a lot of people would ask, what does AR mean for AR-15? Is that the automatic rifles that everyone talks about?
No, so a lot of people refer to them as assault rifles. The name actually is Armalite rifle. It's just a platform. Any firearm could be considered an assault weapon if you use it to assault somebody. So that's a stigma that we're really trying to get over.
Fair enough. So people can come in and try out firearms as much as they like, and then decide on a purchase.
That is true. If they're not wanting to do any fully automatic weapons, we do have a whole wall over here of semi-automatic variants, different calibers from 22 all the way up to 45 in handguns, and 22 all the way up to 50 BMG for long guns.
Well, we got a chance to go try out the 50 BMG. I'll put a clip right here.
Got the red dot in the middle of the white.
Yeah.
All right. Same as before. Moment I kick your foot and you're ready to fire.
That was fantastic. Blew my shirt right off my back quite nearly. But yeah, thank you so much for walking me through this. Is there anything that you'd like to add to maybe a Canadian audience that just doesn't understand perhaps gun culture or the whole thing around it?
If I had to say anything to you guys, come try it out for yourself. It's not as scary as it looks.
That's a great message.